Welcome to a special edition of Business Mentorship, Keepin It Real. Invest in yourself. Panel discussions answering your questions on business strategies and marketing tools by sharing expertise to support and learn from one another. I think we're all looking for ways to increase the visibility of our products and services, collaborate with other business owners, and create connections with our customers in the community. Today's question is, how do we cut through the noise and develop our own unique brand message? I've asked three individuals to join me who are considered experts in their field. To my right is Sherry Barna from Purple Bean Media, a social media marketing expert. Below me is Maude Leger from SoldRightAway, a marketing consultant specializing in working with real estate agents. And below Sherry is Wendy Buchanan from Perceptions Eyewear, an image consultant and licensed optician specializing in eyewear. Each will share their thoughts and point of view on the importance of building our brand identity. Welcome, ladies.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
So I guess we'll start with Sherry because, I think that we can all agree that social media has now become sort of the focus for all of our brand strategies, right? So as we concentrate on our social media presence, what do you think is going to be the key component for this year?
The key component is just simply exposure. People need to be getting out there, and they need to be taking the selfies, the videos, they need to be putting their brand out there. There's something called the mere exposure effect, and it's basically something that Coke does really well, something that Pepsi does, all the big brands we can think of off the top of our heads. It's basically a psychological phenomenon where just by being exposed to the same thing over and over, it kind of somehow creates a preference for us. So, which is why you have these big brands like Coke, Pepsi, Air Jordan, Nike, Under Armour. They're still advertising diligently and aggressively, even though, they're a $1 billion agency or $1 billion brand and everyone already knows their name. So it's just exposure. So practically speaking for me and what I tell my clients and, people I consult with and coach with, I'm just saying, set a goal for yourself. If you're already posting once a day on Facebook, we'll add Instagram and LinkedIn to that. As much as you can get out there, as much as you can tell people what you do, is your business will honestly, I strongly believe the more you utilize social media, the more your business will grow. And I've seen it in my life, I've seen it in my customers' lives, and it just really works. Practically speaking for myself, I'll be trying, my goal this year is at least once a day on LinkedIn. I think that's the platform that people need to be focusing on right now.
Right.
And it's just getting out there constantly. Anytime it just has to become sort of your thought process. Anytime you're like, hey, this is kind of cool, this is neat, this is a peek into my life, put it online.
So, you mentioned a really important component, that is taking the selfies. And I don't know about you ladies, Wendy and Maude, but oh my God, I am like the worst person at taking selfies. I look at those selfies and I'm like, delete, delete, delete. So does anybody have any tips on how to take a selfie that, you can actually feel is representative of your brand and share it on social media? What about you, Wendy? How do you take a selfie?
With my business being eyewear, I haven't found a good way to take a selfie where it really depicts the eyewear in the right lighting, in the right proportion. I think you just have to be okay with it not being perfect.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And just putting yourself out there and like Sherry said, and just, maybe not take ourselves quite so seriously and let people show who we really are. And we aren't perfect, and we don't, with my business being fashion, there's an assumption that you must look good all the time and be totally put together. And, through 2020, what I started to do was like a fun take on Fashion Friday, where the pictures are not professional. It's kind of a joke to fashion, but making some kind of pun or fun comment. And that probably has been my best marketing in 2020. So
yeah. Now, both you ladies, Maude and Wendy, wear glasses. Now, I have to tell you, I totally struggle with the glasses thing because every time I put my glasses on when I'm doing, there's this terrible, glare. And for both of you, you look fantastic. Neither one of you have any glare on your glasses. Is there a secret for lighting when you're on these social media platforms so that you don't get that terrible glare?
there's a ton of videos online that you can learn on how to position your light, how to not have a light behind you, like, or how do you hold your head, like having that, and where to position your glasses so that it looks without as the least amount of glare.
Right.
And to your point about the selfie, I find like a lot of people will go and take so many selfies and looking back at them before they post one. And I would say just take 1 or 2 if you don't like it really, but a minimum of it, and just post them. Like exactly what we're saying here is just don't worry about it to be so perfect. Just do a selfie.
Right.
Obviously have like ideas in mind of like camera older than your chin, looking like smiling. Pick an angle which works for you. Look at the light, where it's coming from, if the light's behind you or coming in front of you, and just have fun with it. Like it doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be fabulous and glamour every time.
Yeah.
Real. The point is to be real.
You're right.
Yeah.
So, Maude, if you were going to give someone a tip on one of the things to invest in for 2020, what would you give folks an idea?
Yeah, I think branding is a huge conversation. A lot of people think branding is just a logo, but the way I see it is branding is not just a logo, a color, or font. It's your image, it's your messaging, is who you are, what are you exposing your clients to, what are your values. So all of that goes into your brand. So investing in definitely having a clear strategy on your branding of where you want to be seen or how you want to be seen. And a lot of people don't know where to start. So I always say to them, if you've been in business, start with your testimonials. Start looking at what people are saying about you. We've had clients who would say, people love me because I'm a great negotiator. And then I would say, really, like, I don't see it that way. And it's not because you're not a great negotiation, but I see something else coming up that's like even more powerful. So then we go through testimonials and find out, well, everybody's saying you're clear, you're clean, you're not like salesy, no BS type of thing. You're just a person who just cares. So why don't you focus on that instead of the negotiator? I feel like people would relate a lot more to someone who cares about them than a negotiator. And then once you know that, then it's important to invest in photography, like having great photos, could be lifestyle photos, some portrait shots, then logo, and then clear messaging. Always in your messaging, your website, your platforms, everywhere you're going to be, how you present yourself when you meet new clients, when you do your sales pitch or your presentations pitch, then to just have the same messaging throughout.
Right. You raised a really good point, Maude, and I'll ask Sherry, because one of the things, the first thing that we invest in, and I think all of us as entrepreneurs have invested in a logo. Yeah. We start with the logo that, we choose our corporate colors, and then we sort of start to build a marketing platform from there. So when you're on social media, Sherry, do you recommend that people include their corporate logo in some sort of brand messaging that they send out on these sort of daily posts?
Honestly, I don't, because I find in theory, yeah, for sure. In practicality, people don't want to take a picture, edit the picture. They don't even want to take the picture and post it, let alone do an editing extra step.
Right.
So I'm like, you know what? You are your business. Like, I'm Purple Bean. Purple Bean is me, my face, my logo. It doesn't matter what's out there. Right. Now, when I'm doing nice curated stuff, I label it, I put the logo in. But to put that extra obstacle in front of people, it doesn't work, practically speaking. So in theory, like, yes, I can give you a list of 10 things you should be doing, but that just means you won't do it ever. As opposed to 30 posts a month. So just whatever gets you out there, do. And if that means, you're only posting when you have makeup on, I get that as a woman. I don't post pictures without makeup on. I want to look good. Yeah. But I also realize, hey man, this is my face. Some days are good, some days are not so good, some days are early.
Well, Wendy made a really great comment. when she said, you know what, we're not perfect, right?
Exactly.
Like real life is not perfect. So as a business owner, and everything that we do is not going to be perfect. But you know, one of the things that I can certainly comment on is I've met a lot of folks that Wendy has provided some eyewear for. And as an image consultant, do these folks come to you and say that they're looking for something very specific in terms of a brand message? Because the eyewear that you provide them is extremely distinct and very much, I think, a reflection of their personality. Do you find that that's something that people are coming and asking you for?
Originally, no. Like they're coming in because they just want to look great in a pair of glasses. And then through my process, we start to unravel what their personal brand is. Are they looking to, you know, have it correlate with their business image? Do they want their glasses on brand? And I do that a lot, where we're using their corporate colors in their eyewear. So that when they're on screen, when they're on social media, you know, that underlying subliminal message that, you know, if your corporate color is purple and you're wearing purple glasses, that it starts to resonate unconsciously, subconsciously, with their market. So it's part of the process that as we go through it, and I think when we get it right, then they're empowered and confident to put themselves out there too. You know, we've done the hard work and we've analyzed it, but some now that, you know, once you create that fan, they do come back with the expectation that the glasses are their image, they are on brand, they are expressing their visual style. You know, so much of our image now is from the neck up. So glasses are front and center, and they don't want to look like everybody else. So the glasses help them stand out amongst that sea of images they see pop up on Instagram or LinkedIn or Facebook.
Right. So, you know, you raise a really great point, because, you know, there's lots of noise. We all know, you know, you take a look at your social media feed and we flip through, and there's some folks that are doing things that are really amazing, and other folks that you think, oh, geez, Louise, what were they thinking that morning when they posted that picture? Like, what's that message all about? So, you know, not only are we brand experts, but we're also customers. So, you know, in sort of wrapping up this whole idea about our personal and professional brand being one and the same, I'm going to ask each of you a question, and that is, in your social media feeds in the last week or so, you know, what type of brand messaging or what type of visual image has stuck out in your mind, so that you kind of thought, yeah, that's really great. Maybe I need to incorporate that into my own strategy. Let's start with you, Sherry. Is there been anything in your social media feed that stuck out and grabbed your attention?
You know, I really always enjoy like the best of, you know, podcasts, the best of YouTube, the best 9 on Instagram. And I was looking, I didn't do one this year, but I was just, I'm always like, oh, okay, you know, that is a lot of data. If you look at what the best 9 is. So a lot of people are like, I don't want to do selfies. I don't like doing that. But when you look at the best 9, a lot of those 9s are the selfies. And, so to me, when I look at that, I'm like, that's just a lot of data that we can actually look at our best 9, and there's websites to get that. And then you can say, oh, this is what my audience wants. They like when I'm open. They like pictures of me. They like, you know, whatever it is. So to me, it wasn't like necessarily a specific image, but just like, wow, this is a huge like field of knowledge that we need to take and start really examining.
That's really a great idea. Wendy, what about for you? Was there anything in your social media feed that struck your attention?
From my personal one, or from one that you know, when I did this whole Fashion Friday that I'm still doing, you know, I got up on my roof one day and with a cup of tea, dressed in like a red jumpsuit and sparkly high heels. That was probably the most reaction I got from anybody, because it was fun. It was funny. That, you know, it really engaged people, because I'm still talking about fashion, but I'm doing it not in a runway way. You know, just trying to make it fun, because I think when people think about image, it can be intimidating. It's like, well, what is my image, and how do I put that together, and what are the right colors, and what is that brand? And that overwhelmed feeling that you speak to, Sherry. It's just, you know, get your style that's your style and doesn't look like everybody else.
Right. And Maude, what about you?
For me, I've been watching everything as our life, like you said, like is up to here to here now. So I've been watching a photographer that's on YouTube that she is phenomenal. I really admire her. She's posting educational posts for other photographers. So I find it really inspiring for me. And I just find her character is what stood out to me. Not only she's educational, she's smart, she knows what she's doing, but she's super empowering. And I find like that's what we all need right now, this inspiration, empowerment, how she's saying like, do this for yourself. Like you want to look good for yourself, not like, and all of these things like really gets to having a dual messaging. I find for her is the knowledge, education, and the empowerment.
Well, you know, I really want to thank all of you ladies, because, you know, the reason why I asked each of you to join me today to talk about brand messaging is because each of you have something really very unique that I think you share with your target audience. And certainly we remember the things that you post. So I want to thank you very much for sharing your expertise and your point of view with us today. And to Maude's point, hopefully what we're sharing will be educational and collaborative and reach out to the folks who watch Business Mentorship, Keepin' It Real. So thank you very much, ladies, for joining me today. And to our viewing and listening audience, if you have a question, marketing question, or a business strategy question that you'd like to have answered, please feel free to reach out to me on social, and we'll certainly include it in one of our next editions of Invest in Yourself. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Thanks, Trish.